This video is going to cover a few different topics. The first thing we're going to look at is paragraph structure. The next thing we're going to look at are introduction sentences, and the last thing are irrelevant sentences. This is what a paragraph should look like. At the beginning of each paragraph, you should indent. Now, what an indent is usually the tab key on your computer or about 5 spaces. So the first sentence of each paragraph should be indented. This lets the reader know that you have gone from one idea to the next idea. Another thing you should look at are your margins. Margins are the sides of your paper, the left and right side. So make sure that your margins are set so everything is lined up to the left side. And when you go to the right side, there should be about an equal amount of space unless you are finishing a paragraph. The last thing that this paragraph has is capital letters. You need to have capital letters at the beginning of every sentence. So we've looked at the format of a paragraph. Now let's go ahead and talk about the first sentence of a paragraph. The first sentence of a paragraph can be the introduction sentence. Now you don't need to have an introduction sentence in your paragraph, but many paragraphs have this sentence. The introduction sentence is the first sentence followed by the topic sentence. The introduction sentence should be just basic general information. All it's doing is introducing the topic to the reader. Okay, let's go ahead and look at a quick example. In the introduction sentence, it says, many people have heard that being a vegetarian can be a healthy life choice. Topic sentence, however, many do not know that being a vegetarian is also extremely good for the environment. Now here, both of these sentences talk about being a vegetarian. The introduction sentence just talks about it being a healthy life choice, and many people know this. However, that's not what this paragraph is about. The controlling idea is in the topic sentence. The controlling idea is how it's extremely good for the environment. Both the introduction sentence and the topic sentence state the main topic. However, only the topic sentence has the controlling idea. Because the topic sentence has that controlling idea, I know that all the supporting sentences in the paragraph are going to be talking about how being a vegetarian is good for the environment. We're going to talk a lot more about supporting information later on in the semester, but for right now, we'll just talk really quickly about supporting sentences. Supporting sentences support the main idea, which means it supports the topic sentence. If a sentence does not directly support the topic sentence, it is an irrelevant sentence. It shouldn't be in that paragraph. Now, if it's something important, you can talk about that supporting idea in another paragraph. But if it doesn't directly support our topic sentence, it should not be in that paragraph. So what is an irrelevant sentence? How do we know if something is not supposed to be in the paragraph? Well, it is something that's not directly related to the topic sentence. Oftentimes, these sentences are related to the main topic, but it's not related to the controlling idea. So it might be related, like if we're going to use the example of soccer again. It might be related to soccer, but it's not related to the controlling idea of the topic sentence in that particular paragraph. Let's go ahead and read through the first part of this paragraph to see if we can find an irrelevant sentence. Okay? May 10th, 1996 was the deadliest day in Everest history. Among those who died that day were friends Rob Hall and Scott Fisher. Both were experienced guides and were leading paid expeditions to the summit. Everest can be climbed without supplementary oxygen, but this requires special fitness training, so almost all guides use oxygen tanks. Both Rob and Scott have made the summit many times, and the morning of May 10th seemed the same as any other day. However, as the day went on, Rob noticed the weather changing quickly. He called Scott, who was higher up on the mountain than him, that a storm was moving in quickly. Okay, so take a minute and pause the video. I want you to look at the paragraph again and find what is the topic sentence and see are there any irrelevant sentences in this paragraph. It might help you see a little better to break down the paragraph into different sentences like this. So when we look at the beginning of this paragraph again, the first sentence I would say is probably an introductory sentence, right? It talks about the deadliest day in Everest history. The second sentence is going to focus on Rob and Scott Fisher and how those people died. The rest of the supporting information is going to support how Rob and Scott died that day. So what is the irrelevant sentence? What seems to be just a little bit out of place? Well, I would say here that it's sentence 4. Everest can be climbed without supplementary oxygen, but this requires special fitness training, so most all guys use oxygen tanks. Again, this seems to be about the same topic, but it has nothing to do with the story here, the story of Rob and Scott and how they died that day. This would be an example of an irrelevant sentence.